Well, after seemingly having a long break between races, we're now that part of the NTT IndyCar Series where we're going to have almost weekly racing up until the middle of the next couple of months, I guess. So that's great news. It's NTT IndyCar Race Weekend, and you know what that means. When they race, we race here first. It's time for some top split action in the 2024 IndyCar iRacing Series. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gotza. Welcome to the Race First coverage of the 4D Racewear, actually sponsored by 4D Racewear, of Round 4 of the 2024 Championship as we come to you today from the Augusta of Motorsports, BARBER Motorsports Park. As always, joining me from his compound down in Mexico, he is a regular in the IndyCar Fix Series. My teammate when I do race, but most of the time he's my teammate here in the booth. Please welcome El Patron, Antonio Estrada. So Antonio, we got a huge strength of field here today. 48 or 4.8K. I think we're going to see a packed race, but I've also heard that there's a little, maybe just going to be some strategy, maybe a 3-stop, maybe 4-stop race. And heard some people also over driving some of the corners a little bit during testing. Maybe we're going to see some attrition in this one.
Yeah, no kidding. It's such a strong field. I don't remember one so strong as this one. But yeah, hello everybody. It's great being back here. Hey Gary, and yeah, I mean, Barber is such a beautiful place. Like you said, the Augusta of Motorsports. Such a scenic place, and it's a very technical track. A lot of rhythm corners. There are a lot of elevation changes. Mm-hmm. Some blind corners where you don't even know where you're going. And I mean, these guys with this super strong strength field that we have here, they sure do know what they're doing. But once you start pushing and trying to get a little bit more, you're dancing on that line. It's very easy to just place a wheel a little wrong, especially coming off of turn 12-13, which is a very, very fast part, a very, very fast section of the track. If you drop a wheel, you're going around. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they manage to do that while going fast. I know that the strategy is definitely going to come into play. And yeah, tire degradation. So we're going to see some comers and goers. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting race, especially because there are not, again, very many passing opportunities. For turn 1 and turn 5, they're really good for that. But if you're stuck behind somebody else, especially in the fast sections of the track, it's going to be a little bit of a tough one to get by.
You might have to wait your turn. So we got 90 laps. That's 100% length, just like the pros. 2.38 permanent road course, 2.38 mile permanent road course. So we're going to be doing about 214.2 racing miles today. Pit road speed limit is 45 miles per hour. Tire compound change is required. So we are now back to having the primes and the alternates, which are the reds. We are not going to be seeing the Wayulis for a while. Today's coverage is sponsored by 4D Racewear. Check out their made for sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on their link in today's description. We got 2 minutes 50 seconds left to play here. Gosh, I'm having a hard time talking. It's another one of these days, I guess. Andreas Ike, yes, I want to be like Ike. He is currently the pole sitter, or provisionally on the pole with a 105. And ironically, that is getting really close to the actual track record that has been set here just about a year ago. The qualification track records here is held by Romain Grosjean. Excuse me, I cannot talk. Grosjean, he did a 105.8396. Ike is a 105.999. He is that close. Of course, Romain did that in 2023. The active race leaders here are Joseph Newgarden with 3, and he will be a topic of discussion, I'm sure, during today's race. Will Power and Ryan Hunter-Reay each have 2, and a fast fact. And I think it's something worth keeping the attention of this weekend going into the real NTT IndyCar Series race here. This is one of the few tracks remaining on the entire schedule that Scott Dixon has never won at. If you can believe it.
That is so hard to believe. And I don't know where he qualified, but at least in practice, he was mired back in the 20s. And but that
doesn't seem to stop him too much.
No, it's kind of like his MO. Don't make the Fast 6, get an extra set of tires, and then destroy the competition and race day. So, yeah.
lining up in the back of the field for Dix doesn't really seem to stop him too much.
No. What a great fuel saving class he gave everybody last week.
Yeah, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You are watching a legend in our own time, one of the all-time greats that will go down as one of the all-time greats. I do think that he will get AJ's record, both of them. I think he'll get the championship record as well as the wins total. And those are going to be records that are going to stand for a very, very long time.
Yeah, we're watching history in the making there.
Watching the Ovalmeister Robert Malechka III, who is dominating the Indy Fixed or the IndyCar Oval Series, much to your chagrin. But he's led off the first 5 races in the series over there with wins, and last 2 races have been a little rough for him, but he at least finished on the podium, I think, at both of those. So it's despite no win, I mean, he's still up there in the top 3. We're watching him currently right now. His last lap was a 109.5. And he's in the top 10.
Funny you mentioned that, he had a couple of hard weeks, but he ended up, I think, 2nd and 3rd. So I'm not so sure how hard they were.
Right. All right, we are going to line up, and we are going to do, and there seems to be no rhyme or reason and how they do this, because at Long Beach we lined up on the backstretch. Here we're going to line up on the front stretch, and we're going to do an entire 1-lap pacing lap. So this is going to impact fuel mileage.
Yeah, I think for Long Beach we do have like the short pacing lap. We don't have it available here in Barber, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to go all the way around, but that's good because it's gonna give us enough time to go through the entire field, as opposed to with Long Beach, which where we kind of needed to sprint through everything. Alrighty, so
yeah, let's get into this.
On the pole, it's Andreas Eick, 105.9, which is crazy. I was very happy with my 108 I did at some point while I was testing here. I was like, that's a pretty good time. No, that would put me 25th or something in this field. 105.9 for Andreas Eick. Joining him in the front row is going to be John Bedever with a 106.3. Then in row 2, Satellite Racing, Kevin Burrell. He's going to be starting 3rd with a 106.4. And he is joined by Pascal Stix, who is the current points leader in the IndyCar iRacing Series. It's going to be very interesting to see him here. We hadn't had the chance of watching him in one of these SOF races, so we'll see how he does in this stacked field. Then starting 5th, it's Power Slides Alexander Van den Sand, and he's joined by his teammate Robert Malechka III with a 106.7. Then in 7th, we have Hayato Matsuda, who did a great job last week, and he is joined by Rashad Craig from IAR. Starting 9th, we have Jacob Reed, and he is joined by Satellite Racing David Porcelli, a very, very fast driver. Well, pretty much everybody in this field is very, very fast. So, I mean, any of these times would have easily set the pole in pretty much any other split, but again, with a very strong field. Starting 11th, we have Will Weiser with a 106.9, and then we move to the 107 bracket with Sven Neumann, who's going to be starting in 12th. In 13th, we have Lionel Massey from France. He is joined by Brian Carey. Then starting in 15th is Andrew Sandberg, and he is joined by Matt White. Starting 17th, we find Matt Taylor, and he is joined by Ivan Genderoso. Hope I'm saying that one right. Yeah, he's Argentinian, so that's right. Genderoso. Somebody new in this in our split races. Welcome to Ivan. Hope he does good. Starting 19th, we have Jeremy Hoppe. He's French, so that's why I did the French accent. And he's joined by Alexander Wesley Hazelworth. What a cool name, by the way. He's starting 20th. Starting 21st, we have Will Itwell, and he's joined by Jason Green, starting 22nd. Starting 23rd, we have Igor Shirokov, and he's joined by Jack Southfield with a 108.3. And bringing the rear of the field, we can find Mark Noski, starting 25th, and Rob Hubert. I'm terrible with his last name, and he actually gave us a pointer at some point in the Discord, but I forgot. So Rob, apologies for that. But he's going to be starting 26th. And yeah, we're getting ready to go.
I think it's Hubrex. I think is
that makes more sense than
what he said. Yeah, we are. If we had if last names were meat, we would be the finest butchers in the world.
Oh, 100%. Right, so yeah, they're right now going through 12, 13. This fast complex, this is a blind corner, and especially on cold tires, it's going to be very hard to go through there. So gotta watch out on that first lap of the race, as the pace car is now finding his way to the pit road. Again, a very tricky pit road as well.
Oh,
so
gosh, yeah.
Something to take into account. But we are now getting ready to go green. Andreas Ike is bringing them to the front stretch, and the green flag is out. We're underway. Sven Neumann had a little bit of enough. Dropped the wheel, no harm, no foul. They're side by side all over right now while we're coming to turn 5. Kaira Matsuda making it. Oh.
2 cars off.
Yeah, Matt White. Oh no, Rashad Craig is also involved.
Oh, Rashad has a back wing that's busted. So Ivan Linder-Oso, he is out, unfortunately. Matt White is towed to the pits. Mark Notsky, I think he just kind of skated his way through that. I don't think he has any damage. Rashad Craig is got the rear wing. He's got to stop. Will Weiser, I think, might have been caught up in it, but doesn't look like it. He has any damage. He's right behind Power Slide's Brian Carey. So I think a lot of these guys in the back just kind of they got freight trained a little bit, and then when after the freight train came by, then the accident happened, and they kind of needled their way through it. But back up front, Ike is your leader, being challenged now by Burrell. Burrell getting around Badenfuhrer.
Yeah, and behind them, Alex Van de Seen and Pascal Sticks are not letting them get that far away. Pretty much all of your leaders are on the alternate tire, which is a little faster, but it degrades just a tiny bit more than the primary tire, so we'll see how they go through that.
First car on the alternate strategy is Robert Malechka, though. So Power Slide always thinking, and looks like they're splitting their strategies, sending Alex out there on the on the alternates and putting Robert on the prime.
Covering everything. That's smart.
Dare I say it's very Team Penske-esque, but going into this weekend, calling someone Team Penske might actually be calling someone like a heel in wrestling.
yeah, probably not the best weekend to call anybody Penske perfect or anything close to that.
Jeremy, it said Hoppe. He is missing a front wing. He is hitting pit road right now.
Let me try and see what happened. I was watching the replay of the incident with Rashad Craig.
Car off on the turn 1, and that is Alexander Wesley Hazelworth in that Formula One Ferrari livery. He is off in turn 1 with it looks like he impacted the tire barrier with the rear wing, so he's going to have to get that fixed. Take it easy, buddy. Don't want to. You're losing all your downforce, so your back end is going to be very, very light.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a challenge to drive around with no downforce around this circuit, which again is very challenging, very fast. A lot of elevation changes. The car gets unsettled in many different, like this museum turn here, this chicane. It's very, very difficult how to navigate, especially without your rear wing. It's gonna make it a lot harder. This is also a very fast section, and as he loses the rear. Yep, that was kind of bound to happen.
And we got a battle for the lead again. We have actually 2 passes for the lead while we're watching drama further on back in the field. Ike and Burrell, the general, have been swapping it back and forth over the last lap or so. Badenfuhrer back to 3rd now. Van de Sant now in 4th. Pascal Sticks, love the name, man. He's with that core sim racing squad. He is in 5th. And Heyo Matsuda in that, well, speaking of Scott Dixon, in that Dixon livery. Maybe we actually see that livery win here one way or another this weekend, whether it be Matsuda bringing it to the front or maybe Scotty D himself.
Huh. Yeah, this battle for the lead is so interesting. Like we said, they are not getting away from each other. Like Van de Sande Stakes, they're right there. Same with Matsuda. They're not losing track, and just a tiny mistake from Andreas Eick, who, I mean, not necessarily a mistake. He just didn't have the best of exits of turn 15 that allowed Burrell to go by, and then that also set up for Jan Bedford to
Bedford's up to P2. Yeah. And we got 3 of the power teams right up front. Actually, 4 of the power teams. We got Satellite Racing as your leader, encountering lap traffic now. That is Rashad Craig's. So Rashad is a pro. He knows what to do. He wants to try to stay on the lead lap, though, so he's not going to necessarily give up that position. But he's well, there he goes. He does. But he's also not going to, do it in a place where you could bind up the field, and he did it in a safe spot there. And as he's moving out of the way once more, so we got Satellite Racing, your leader. We got Geodesk as in one of the teams, their power teams here, and they are P2. Then Team Talent, they are currently P3. Power Slide is P4. Now, Core Sim Racing, they do not participate in a lot of leagues or any really other. I don't think they're in any other IndyCar Series official racing, just the IIS. But they do have a pretty big presence on the service. I'll hit their website. They are a seasoned group of road course racers. They race in other formulas as well, but they dabble in IndyCar for the IIS. And I don't think Matsuda's ever on a team. He's just kind of an independent, but he is one of the stronger independents out there. Jacob Reed, I think this is his first time we've seen him in the top split here. Broadcast up to P7 there in the Dollar General, which was driven by Eddie Carpenter. Ed Carpenter didn't really pilot that car very well on road courses, but it's right now being got a lot of respect thrown on it with Reed bringing it up to 7th. Robert Malechka with Power Slide up to 8th.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention Reed is the number 2 car. He has 7,700 iRating. So
yeah, 7.7.
Really good at road courses, I can imagine.
And then also Power Slide is bracketing the top 10. David Porcelli, who had bad luck last week at Long Beach in the fountain area on the first lap. I'm a big fan of Porcelli. I like this. I'm racing against him. He's a good dude. He's blinking there. But he is car off into the grass there. I think that might be Rashad Craig, and he just went ahead and towed. Just a long day becoming longer for him. But David Porcelli in P10, having a good showing. He's no slouch either here in these cars. 6.8. He has a 6K iRating, but he's way up there. He's a 5th ranked driver right now. P10.
Yeah, what a day for Rashad Craig. He got taken out lap 1. It was a netcode incident with David Porcelli there, who kind of sent it 3 wide entering turn 5, which triggered that a little bit. And now just to add insult to injury, he goes out in turn 1. I think he's probably going to be done for the day. In the meantime, there's a battle brewing there between Alex Van de Sande and Pascal Sticks. And Andreas Eick seems to be dropping off a little bit from Burrell and Bedford, who, they're still very close to each other. But this second group is kind of getting a little bit losing touch with the 2 leaders. They could also be saving fuel.
True. And we'll do some fuel calculations here for everybody just to give an idea of when we kind of expect stops. So if you enjoyed today's coverage here on Race First of the IndyCar iRacing Series, and you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future Race First iRacing broadcasts. as we are now getting into it here in the early stages. Lap 8 of 90. The general, Kevin Burrell, on the point right now, leading of about a pack of 6 cars, kind of broke away as the lead pack. And now that pack's kind of being separated into 2 smaller packs at the moment. Jacob Reed brings up the remainder of the field in 7th, 8th, and 9th. Back there. There he is. And we got two cars from the Sven Newman is also part of that core sim racing squad. We got 2 of the core team up there in the top 10.
Yeah, and there's another battle brewing there for 11th between Massey, Sandberg, and Eadwell. They're very, very close to each other, entering turn 5 right now.
It's Lionel Maze, or is that how we say Maze?
Massey.
Yeah. I got to require you for the exotic sounding names. I just I have to lean on you. You do a much better job than I can.
As Massey went a little off, but that didn't slow him down that much because Sandberg and Eadwell were side by side. Now they're coming to the fast section, blind section of the track, turn 13. Oh, Eadwell got a little loose there. He lost a lot of time to Sandberg.
Eadwell also in the Scotty D livery, so he is not necessarily a teammate of Hayo Matsuda.
Yeah, but probably trying to get an extra gallon or 2 by just running a Scott Dixon livery.
All right, so let's break out the calculator here. So we've got 90 laps. So if we make it a 3-stopper, which means it's a 4-stint race, you're looking at 22 laps, 23 laps roughly, that you need to hit in order to get to the end. The final stint will be a little bit shorter by a couple of laps, but you're looking at 23 laps really to hit that number. If you want to do a we said it's going to be separated kind of between a 3 and a 4-stopper. That might be too much. I think it's going to be a 3-stopper for everybody.
Yeah, you should probably stop around lap 24, 23, 24.
Yep.
And then again at around lap 48, 49, something like that, and then to lap 70-ish, and then you're good to go. It's a 90-lap race, so yeah, I think you could potentially try and go for a 4-stopper, but you're probably going to lose a lot of time. So
if you want to go for a 4-stopper, which is 5 stints, then that's 18 laps, and that window will open up here in about 7 laps. So that's 18 laps evenly. There's no in a half or decimal point there. It's every 18 laps you're stopping, which makes it a little bit more predictable, but you are stopping. And this is a long and difficult pit road.
Yeah, pit entry is so
treacherous. Yeah, it's right up there as one of the more diabolical pit entries in the series. That 90-degree turn right at the very end, or right at the beginning, to get on the pit road, and then when you actually make that 90-degree turn, left-hand turn, to get into the portion of the pit road where it has all the stalls. Seen a number of cars slam into the wall there and lose a front wing, lose a front nose, bend up a front suspension. Day's done.
Yeah, I don't want to say that I've done it, but I've done it.
Let's get the ticker on here so we can see where everyone stands. Just to show you how the overlay works, you'll see the position number. That's where they are currently scored on the racetrack. That is Burrell after the number 1. He is our leader. And the number 1 is purple because he has the purple lap. He set the purple lap earlier in the race with a 107.9. We might see that number float up and down here as drivers get onto different compounds, different fuel capacities, different strategies. We might see that number go up and down. Then the top 10 there always remains the same. You will always see the top 10. However, 11th through the remainder of the field, in this case 26, will cycle through. So if you don't see your name initially, wait, and then after it cycles through, you might see your name on the second page. So that is how the overlay works. And right now, Burrell and Beta Fuhrer have pulled out to a 4-second lead over Ike. Ike's got himself about a second lead over Van de Sant.
A little bit of side-by-side between Matt Taylor and Igor Shikarov.
All right, let's get on that.
Was able to get the pass done. And right behind him, it's Brian Carey trying super hard to get by Jack Southfield. Jack is in the alternate tire, and Brian is in the primaries. It seems like we're getting to that point where the primaries maybe are coming, even with the alternates. And maybe in a couple of laps, we'll start seeing those alternates degrade a little bit further. So again, it's about also tire conservation as Southfield drops a wheel. That's going to allow Carey to
take a peek to the inside, yeah.
To the inside, yeah.
Ooh,
that was close. He's not going to get a good run here, Carey. Last time by, we were side-by-side in the carousel, and Carey was unable to complete the pass. Yeah, he's faster in this section. He's getting a good run, but not enough to...
sent to the inside. Oof.
Yeah, he was quite a bit far from actually making it happen, but that kind of scared Southfield a little bit. Now he's showing the car again.
Let's ride along with Carey and see from his point of view. He's very fast left and right, blind corners. Here's kind of one right there. Top of the hill gets kind of blind up there. Don't know what's going on. Gonna take a look to the inside here. Yep, this thinks better of it. Oh, gets right up there, close on the attenuator there, Southfield. Southfield hits the
curve. Exit this time. Oh, he had a great exit, but he got a little loose. Trying a little bit of an over-under there.
Just come into one of the passing zones down in the Charlotte's Web down here.
He's going to get a good run here. But so does Southfield. Good exit.
Through the chicane area, which really isn't used very much as a chicane. Just everyone kind of cuts the corner. Right in front of the Motorsports Museum here on the grounds of Barber.
It's such a cool track. Sandberg is speeding, so that's our first taker.
Well, he is in a little bit early. He is in a little bit early if he's going to do the four-stopper. And I don't know. I don't think I see any damage on him, so maybe he just got tired of the alternate tires. He was hemorrhaging too much time, and he's like, screw this, we got to get in here now, and I'll try to save fuel later. No, he stays on the reds. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, I be it far from me to question the strategy, because I don't know really what's going on. For all we know, he might be in the top 5 at the end of this race, and he'll be like, told you so.
Yeah. Carey and Southfield still fighting it out. They're now side by side entering the museum. But Carey had to really back out of that one.
This is how good the racing is. If we have to go back to 15th and 16th to find the closest battle, And that's how good the racing is. Everyone else is kind of really very quickly kind of separated themselves out, and kind of each one has like their own little bubble they're currently in right now. Most of the bubbles I see are about 4/10.
Yeah, around that. Kerry just sent it. I'm sure that Southfield is going to try as hard as he can to get back by him.
Kerry was always fast in that turn 2-3. Here comes Southfield one more time. Does that overdrive? He locked it up. He almost overdrove it into Kerry. I think Kerry actually maybe heard that and saw it and gave him some extra room. He gets the position back. Now Kerry in the turn 2-3 area has been faster than Southfield the last couple. When we were riding along with him, we could clearly see that.
Yeah, I mean, the little bit of contact there, trying to get back, made it work. Kerry is not happy, understandably so. He's going to get a good look here. I'm sure at this point globes are off.
Oh, Kerry power slide as the team name goes. And that's going to cost him some valuable track position in terms of his proximity to Southfield. But that now separates this battle out a little bit. But a good save by Kerry.
That was very intense. And I'm sure that Kerry, whenever he gets it back up, is going to be even more adamant to make it by Southfield. In the meantime, I can also see Will Weiser closing up to Lionel Massey. Massey, Weiser, and Sandberg, they were all together, and Sandberg maybe just decided to try and pit a little earlier than these guys to get a little bit of track position, get a little bit of clean air. Because again, if you're faster, maybe by a tiny bit, we saw it with Kerry, he was faster on the back section of the track, but there are no real good passing opportunities there until you come all the way to turn 1, and then you have another shot in turn 5. But again, if you're faster, you can get stuck and maybe lose some precious time. So it's not the worst idea to just pit as early as you can.
Yeah.
And try and make something happen.
Oh, Weiser. Weiser tried to send it in there 5. So it looks like they're going to be side by side here, coming down into let's see, 6, 7, and 8 here, and 9. Just they cut the corner so bad here. It's just I don't know why they just don't repave it and forget the chicane there.
Yeah.
It looks like Lionel is part of a sim racing squad as well. It's VAC Sim Racing. So we welcome them, or VEC Sim Racing. They got their URL on the back of that wing and on the side pod. Welcome them to the series. Hope to see more of these other squads that don't do a lot of IndyCar racing doing more IndyCar racing. Because really, though, these cars. And what happened to Will Weiser? He's on pit road, so Weiser might be doing the 4-stopper. He's that window is open. The 3-stopper is not open yet.
I think you can make it work with just a tiny bit of save. In the meantime, there are a lot of things happening right now. Pascal Sticks just made it by Andreas Ike there for P4. Again, we saw that Ike was kind of losing a little bit of touch with the leaders. They're now quite a back. Burrell and Bedford, they're 7 seconds in front of Alex Van der Sande, who is now closely followed by Pascal Sticks. Then Ike Matsuda, who's right there with them, and Jacob Reed, who we just
Reed has reeled these guys in, or either he's reeled them in, or they've come back to him. And then all by himself in 8th there is RM3.
Yeah, but I think Matsuda is now probably going to try something with Ike, because he saw, he just smelled the blood on the water. If somebody went by you, I'm going to try the same. And there he goes to the inside in turn 5. Yeah, he's going to make it work.
Got Jesper Orman in chat here. Says a pretty impressive drive by Betafuhr to stick with Burrell.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. And he's closing in, actually, right now.
Jacob Reed now as Ike loses a couple positions there. Now Reed, who is the number 2 ranked driver in this race, looking to get around today's pole sitter, Ike.
Yeah, and again, you're on the backside of the circuit. Not very many passing opportunities. I'm sure that right now he's fuming, like, oh man, I can get by this guy, Matsuda pit, and that's on par for the 3-stoppers.
Yeah,
the window's open now.
Just a little early. 23 actually will ensure that you do a 3-stopper. 22, actually the way it works out is 22 and a half, is what the math said.
Right.
And Matsuda, he's down and away. He'll come out probably still in the top 15. And here is now the closest battle in the top 10 between Reed and Ike.
Yeah,
now, go ahead.
No, I got a great launch off of turn 4, so he was able to defend entering turn 5, but Reed is faster, definitely.
But you might be saying, though, you're like, this Reed guy, he's got a 7.7K I rating. He should be passing Ike, the 11th ranked driver in this race. Ike, he's got a 5.0 I rating. So in theory, that should make, and we have, I think, slower traffic in front of Ike, Southfield. I think Southfield just pitted, so he just came off pit road.
Yep. Reed is on the bottom, and he's going to make it through. Very clean pass.
There we go, yeah.
Ike there. Move Reed up to 5th.
So people might be saying, why couldn't Reed pull that off earlier if he's the highest ranked driver? Well, there's a lot to say about Gideon. We talked about this before in other broadcasts, certainly when we're on the ovals, when we tend to see a lot of the super speedway ovals. We tend to see a lot of the NASCAR guys kind of come over and try their hand at IndyCar. And the Fontana race earlier this season, the IIS, was kind of a good example of that, where very early in the race, if you remember, all of the Reed on the outside, but he's going to pit road. That was very close. He needs to make sure he can get to pit road without smacking that wing off, and he does.
And but followed by RM3 as well.
RM3 is on the pit road, but we were talking about how we noticed how all of the NASCAR guys kind of stormed to the front, and all of the IndyCar guys kind of floated to the rear. And a lot of that comes down to just knowing the strategy of these cars. Most about every IndyCar race you get into, as soon as you take the green flag, the first thing you think about is fuel conservation. Beta if you're getting around Morel, and we missed that while we're watching the people on pit road. We've been watching a lot of these races in the mid-pack. We keep missing these passes for the lead.
Yeah, that's the second time. Apologies for that, but yeah, it's great racing throughout the entire field. And we noticed, and they come, both of them, to pit lane. We noticed that Bedford was, closing in a little bit more on Burrell, but like Jesper said on chat, what a great race he's having.
So again, a lot of what I was saying back to this, my point I was making, that these guys like Pascal Stix and Sven Newman and Jacob Reed, who might have a high I rating and good road course skills in other series, why aren't they necessarily up there challenging for the league? I think a lot of that has to do with, if you look who's leading, and we'll get the camera on them, that's Alex Vanasant. There are very few people on the surface that has many starts in IndyCar on iRacing as Alex Vanasant. Alex Vanasant has he has bred familiarity with this car. He knows what he's doing, and that's a reason why he's, even though his I ranking ranks him as the 13th highest ranked driver, which should put him in the mid pack. Oh, car off on the. Ooh, that is Southfield? No, that is Igor.
Igor Shirakov, a little bit of a problem there for him.
And I'm not sure what team he's on, but he has it on his side pods. And here comes Alex to pit road, so that should hand the lead over to Badenfuhrer if he gets there.
Oh, Shirokov is having all sorts of issues entering pit lane with a broken car.
It really, really pays to be familiar with these cars, especially in open setup. And a lot of tools you can use in these cars, the front roll bar, the rear roll bar, or the anti-roll bar, excuse me, fuel mapping, brake bias.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there are a lot of technicalities. And like you said, these guys that have been driving these cars forever, they know all the intricacies, right?
Right.
So, that's what kind of separates the guys that are very familiar with this car. That's why they can run, a little bit higher up than some of these super highly I-rated guys that maybe are just dipping their toes in the series, which it's great to see, by the way, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
there are a
I like to see
things.
more of them. I like to see more of them in other series as well. We like to see them on the, they might not like oval racing, but hey, we'd love to see you on the IndyCar Oval Series on Tuesday nights. I'm sure they like to see you in the Open Series on Monday nights. And Kevin Burrell and Badenfuhrer getting around lap traffic of our Mark Noski.
Oh, Noski goes around,
yeah.
Actually. He loses it. And now he's going to wait. He's going to have to wait for a lot of cars.
Here comes Matt Taylor. Okay, good. And Ike. And behind Ike is Newman, I believe. So he rejoins.
Pascal Fix is all the way over Bendis, and he's trying to make a move there for P4.
He got him.
He does. Matt Taylor is the only one that hasn't actually pitted. He's
up in 8th spot right now. He is going long.
I'm not sure if you can try and save enough to do it at 2-stopper.
That would be
tough.
That's 30 laps. 30, and he's coming up to lap 27. He's on lap 27. And he's been back in that mid-pack. And not really, I don't think he's been racing too terribly hard. Whereas Matt is very well skilled. He's a 3.7 KI rating, a participant in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. Ike getting a look on the inside, going in the 1, getting the position, which makes me think that Taylor is trying to hit a number.
Yeah, sounds that way, but I mean, I guess if you make it to lap 30 and then you save again, you should be able to make it to lap 60 and then you save again.
Yeah.
And then you make it to the end. But I'm not sure. I mean, he's probably tracking at least a second slower than everybody else. Just taking a look right now.
Yeah, last time by, Robert Malechka, who was ahead of him, was a 108.3. Taylor was a 109.7.
Yeah, there you go. So second and a half. It's a short track, so that second and a half per lap is going to add up. So, I mean, I'm all for that, Let's try something different than what the leaders are doing. Because if you just follow the leaders, you'll probably end up behind them. So,
he's coming to lap 30 right now. I mean, we're on lap 29 right now, so he'll be doing 30 when the leader hits 30. I think it's ballsy. I like seeing that someone's going to attempt another strategy. It doesn't matter really kind of where they finish. It just kind of proves that you can do this on a 2-stopper if you wanted to.
Yeah, for sure. And now Neumann is right behind Taylor. He's going to make easy work of him. Yep, since Taylor is saving. Yeah, he's going to make it to lap 30. That's very interesting. Another strategy opening up. Again, not sure how fast that's going to be, but maybe he's going to, go and climb some spots that he wouldn't have otherwise. So kudos to him. I mean, as it is right now, Taylor has gained 7 spots. He would be actually our biggest winner right now, or biggest gainer of spots in the grid. So yeah, that strategy might pay off.
He, Eatwell, and Southfield are all up 7 spots. Actually, no more than that. Hubrix is also up 7 spots. So that foursome have gained the most right now, this point in time in the race, 30. So I would imagine next time by, Taylor will pop on the pit road. Unless he has the Scott Dixon fuel cell in there. I don't know.
Sticks. In the meantime, we were wondering because we hadn't seen him in our broadcast, but we knew that he was the leader. We just didn't know and hadn't watched him. He's all over Hayata Matsuda there for the podium position for P3. He has been closing in slowly, and right now this group, Matsuda, Sticks, Van de Sande, and Reed, they're still very close together, with Sticks really trying hard to get around Matsuda.
This is kind of a battle between regulars and non-regulars. The regulars in this battle is Van de Sande and Heio Matsuda. Pascal Sticks and Jacob Reed are the non-regulars. But hey, we want to see more of them. So we do encourage to see them in other series and other leagues. Give this IR18 car more of a shot. They're going to be putting more time into these IR18s. Of course, hopefully we will see soon, very soon, maybe one of the updates, the Aero Screen 2.0 on these cars. Of course, that is now for real. They're sporting that for real in the NTT IndyCar Series as of the last race. And of course, things we get to look forward to and for future development of these cars is hybrids.
Yeah. I hope that this car gets archived somehow so that we can still race it as it is, because I'm sure that the hybrid stuff is going to change it quite a bit.
Well, considering they didn't they didn't really make an option to race these cars without the aero screen. When these cars, when they first came out, they didn't have the aero screen. I don't think they'll have a non-hybrid versus hybrid option. Just my guess.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we won't. I'm just like wishful thinking.
Did you hear that, iRacing? Give us options.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I still want my 86 March though, and I still want my 95 Renard, and I still want my 2000 Renard. If you guys are listening.
Yeah, plus one to the 2000 Renard. And the March and the 95 as well. Why not? But if I had to choose, I would go for the 2000s one. I just loved that era of kart racing.
As I said before, we were talking about what we put on the surveys. 2000 is where technology and speed met. And since
that was a peak.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just mentioning that. Yeah, that was the peak for me.
Yeah. And since then, technology has obviously gone into these. A lot of technology have gone into these cars, but the speed is not quite there yet. Although we might see this year at Indy, with the weight reduction that they put into these cars in preparation for the hybrids, that maybe we could see a new track record. I don't think so. That's just me. We'll see. I could be wrong. Robert Malechka is now in this battle.
Malechka has been, he wasn't the primary chart, so he's done with that. And now we saw that the alternates are not really degrading that much. So if he was in the, not the preferred tire for the first stint, and he was able to keep track with these guys, now he's closing fast. He actually was like 2 seconds behind Reed. Now he's only half a second behind, and he's the only one that has met that requirement. Everybody else, all of the leaders, were on the alternate tire to start the race. On their second stint, they went ahead and added another alternate set, and Malechka is the one that is done with them.
And that update on Taylor. Taylor stopped at 31. So he's going to attempt the two-stopper. At least that's what the strategy says. And we'll be following him through the course of this race. Let's do a reset of the field, and we welcome everybody back to the broadcast. Betafuhr is your leader, P1. Kevin Burrell is P2. Heyo Matsuda has worked his way up to P3. Very Scott Dixon-like workmanship there. This is a whole other line of cars battling for this position. Third, fourth is Pascal Stix. 5 is Alex Van de Sant. 6 is Jacob Reed. 7th, Maleska. They are all in a row. This is a battle from 3rd back to 7th. In 8th is Andreas Eich, all by himself. Sven Newman just behind Eich there a little bit there in 9th. Porcelli in 10th. That is your top 10. And Sandberg is 11th. Lionel is 12th in a kind of a closest battle there with Sandberg. Will Weiser 13th. Eatwell 14th. And Brian Carey by himself in 15th. We did mention Taylor. He rejoined in 16th. Take a peek at Southfield here real quick. We watched him a little bit earlier in this race. He is 17th. Jason Green. Have not mentioned him. Green in the green car. He is 18th. Hubrex. Right there in a baby blue and green car. Looking pretty good there. 19th. Jeremy Hope. I hope I'm saying that right. He is in 20th. One lap down. And Mark Noski, who we saw make that spin on the front stretch and did a very safe rejoin. Good on him. In that Arrow McLaren entry livery. He's in 21st. And Alexander Wesley Hazelworth, last car running, one lap down. He is in that Ferrari livery, and he's in 22nd. Go ahead.
Van de Sant almost ran into the back of Sticks. At this point, they were all trying to make their way around Jeremy Hope.
Yeah.
They were able to make it through, but Van de Sant did briefly touch the back wheel, the rear right wheel of Sticks. Looks like no harm, no foul. I don't see any damage from Van de Sant's wing, but that was very, very close.
Let's real quick. While we've got the action here on the screen, we do want to bring up the IIS points. Here is the point situation. Phil Kraus, who is not in this race, and that might impact because of the strength of field. This is the highest strength of field race, top split race so far this week for the IIS. That might impact his lead here, but we'll see. Kevin Burrell is P2. Christian Hilgard not in the lineup. He is P3. Pascal Stix, he's in the lineup, and we're watching him right here in this current battle. He is P4. Brandon Rosenborough, I don't think we've seen him in any of the broadcasts, but he is currently P5. Matsuda, P6. Van de Sant, 7th. Weiser, 8th. Lodato, 9th. And Robert Malechka in 10th. So a good number of the guys in the top 10 are in this race, and they're looking to benefit.
They are getting now this group of from 3rd to 7th. They're getting a little bit of separation, and that kind of goes to show what we were talking about earlier. They were all behind Hope there, so they had to go a tiny bit slower than they would want to, and that bunched them up basically. So now that they have gone through their through the lap car, well. As I say that Van de Sant is getting closer to Stick, so yeah, what do I know? But yeah, this is still the closest battle on the track right now, and it's a 5-way battle as it is. Although RM3 has dropped back a little bit, it's now a second back from this group, but he's still within striking distance.
Now, certainly, if anything, a big incident happens between those, anybody in that group, maybe stepping back a step or two is probably a good thing. That way he can try to avoid the incident and make up those spots. So maybe Robert's positioning now is a little bit more defensive and a little less offensive as he was before.
Yeah, for sure. Also, we haven't really mentioned him as much as we probably should have, because there's been a lot of action. But man, shout out to Jan Bedford. He not only caught Birel, but he went by him while they were coming, well, a lot prior to making their first pit stop. Then they got out together, and now he has put on a 4-second lead on Kevin Birel. and he's gone. So, kudos to him. What a great race he's having. It's great whenever we see him. He's not always here, but whenever he does show up, he always puts on a really, really good show.
Yeah, I would consider him a regular in this car, and the guys with that geodesic squad. Whenever you see one of their cars in the lineup, you know that is going to be one of the cars to beat, and especially if John's behind the wheel. They got that GSI sponsorship as well, so they have the attention of one of the big sim wheel manufacturers, and I will say that GSI makes probably the best wheel that's out there.
I would like to test it for, scientific purposes. As this group that's battling for third has now cut Rob Hubricks, they are making his way. He's letting everybody by. That's a very gentlemanly thing to do. Oh, Reed goes a little, or quite a bit wide. That's going to open the door a little bit for R3.
Oh, yeah, and he got behind Hubricks, but Hubricks had no place to go, really. So Hubricks, I think he's trying to stay out of the way, but he doesn't have really anywhere to hide.
There is nowhere to hide here. It's relentless. It's there are so many changes that you have to be doing throughout the entire race, throughout every single lap. And if you want to let people ride, you only have a couple of spots where you can do it safely. And that's probably here in the front stretch and perhaps just after the museum. But other than that, you don't have any other places where you can pretty much hide. So, yeah, if you catch somebody at maybe not the ideal time, well, you're going to lose just a tiny bit of time. Sandberg is speeding again. So he is definitely on a 4-star.
So, yeah, he went his first stint was 15 laps. The current stint is 23. So he went a little bit further.
Then I don't know. He just might be able to make it another one. If he does 23, that would put him around laps 20.
And he's going to stick to the reds. So alternate tires one more time for Sandberg. So Sandberg probably looking to set up the last stint there on the primes.
Yeah, he can make it. He can make it from there. He's going to need to save fuel on that last stint, but he should be able to make it.
Beta Fuhrer's encountered lap traffic in the form of Jack Southfield and the 8th ranked car. 8th ranked driver currently in 16th spot.
Maleska got really close to Jacob Reed there. I thought he had him for a second, but he had to back off of it. Reed and Maleska have lost touch with Matsuda, Sticks, and Van de Sande. So I'm sure that at this point RM3 is like, I need to go. We need to go.
Well, he has not slapped the button yet. He still has all 10 presses of the push-to-pass button at his disposal that he can use possibly later in the race. So, again, if you're new to IndyCar racing, not sure what the push-to-pass is, it's a momentary, you got 10 pushes of it, and it's a momentary 20-second horsepower boost that you get to try to pass, and he's underneath. Does he get it? Yes, he does. So good pass. We're riding along with Malechka on that one. You get a 20-second momentary horsepower boost until you downshift or come off the accelerator, and then it turns itself off. You can use it anytime, any place.
You can restarts.
Yeah, except on restart. That's we'll talk about that later. But you can use it to.
Sticks out of niche and
Malechka's going to get 2 positions in 1 lap, and Reed's going to follow him through. What happened to Sticks?
He got a little loose.
There he is. Watch this.
Well, not a little loose. He got really loose and did a super save. Almost collected Alex Van de Sande. Man.
Oh yeah, he hit the grass off the rumble strips. Whoa. Yeah.
Kind of what we mentioned, right? You drop a wheel, you're in for a ride. What a great great car control from Sticks. I mean, to not only save it, but only lose.
Check this out from
3
Alex.
positions. Wow.
Check this out from Alex. Oh, he comes to the top of the. Okay, now he's already light. Alex, see. Oh, that's so close. And actually, it registered a hit. And you watch his front wing buckle, and then it snaps back.
So, at this point, really, I mean, Sticks is back in the offensive. He's closing in on Jacob Reed. I'm sure he's, not
Yeah, a little not too happy about that. Although it could have been a whole lot worse. So anyway, so talk about the push to pass. You can use it to push to pass to give you a momentary horsepower boost. You can use it to push to defend. You can use it to defend your position if you need to. But in any instance that you push the button, it will impact your fuel mileage. It also might impact how fast you're going down. Well, it will impact how fast you are going down the straight, so it's going to back your braking point up a little bit. So hitting that button can disrupt your strategy a little bit if you're not prepared. Now, I think in the sim, I think on restarts you can use push to pass. Yeah, because I know you can use push to pass right off the bat on starts as well. I don't think the restart they turn it off here, but in real IndyCar racing, and where a lot of the controversy over the last week came from is that possibly Penske was using it on restarts.
So, sorry to cut you off. Just briefly,
Yep.
Sticks is making his
watching
way
it.
back, going by Jacob Reed on turn 5. You know, he's now a man on a mission. I'm sure he's going to try and get back by RM3. Yeah, really great driving from him. Yeah, but let's go back to what you were saying about Team Penske.
So yeah, and really how it was discovered is that there was, I guess, a push to pass system-wide, series-wide failure on the Sunday warm-up. If I'm understanding my facts right, I haven't really read the Racer Magazine article yet. And when they started looking into it, then they found out that Penske had access to it anytime they wanted. And I think a lot of that had to do with the way their ECUs were programmed, because they were doing a hybrid test. And the ECUs were, I'm not sure if the ECU belongs to the team or the league. If it belongs to the league, my guess is they collect all the ECUs and they flash them. And then that's how there was a big wreck there on 5. I'm not sure who that was, but there was a lot of smoke down there, and I saw some skid marks just
Green.
flying off. Jason Green, okay.
A little off, yep.
Yeah, I saw some skid marks that went across the grass and then into the... and there's Jason Green right there, so he's trying to recover a little bit. But again, I'm not sure if the ECU units belong to the team, and then that they're supposed to flash them and remove that info or whatever programming. Ooh, Van de Sant power sliding up through the top of the hill there, going into the pit straight. Or what? I have to go back and read that article a little bit more, but it seemed that Penske's ECU was still programmed for the hybrid test, which allowed use of push to pass anytime they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, at least that was the version that Tim Cindric was alluding to. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting.
Well, and a couple things. All right, look, if you're going to cheat, don't make it obvious, okay? Because, it goes back to the saying that I've heard before in other sports. If you're not cheating, you're not trying, because you're always looking for that gray area, right?
For sure.
I mean, it's been part of racing forever. And if you say, no, it hasn't, I mean, just go look at NASCAR. Their search for the gray area is where all their engineers get paid for.
Yeah, and F1 even. There are a lot of purists that are like, oh, no, F1 doesn't know. They do it a lot.
Yeah, everyone searches for that gray area, that loophole. Look at the Braun GP and their chassis when they that the year they won the World Championship. That was a loophole they exploited. But where am I going on this is if you're going to do something that's going to be caught, make it a little less evident. They saw Newgarden and other Penske drivers going for button pushes that really they should have been pushing buttons at that point in time. What are you doing? Why are you pushing that button at that time? Were they doing something they shouldn't have been? I'm just saying, if you're gonna be sneaky about it, why don't you put the button on the back of the wheel and no one will see your fingers move? But that's just me. If you're gonna be diabolical, be diabolical. You know. But that's just one thing. I mean, is cheating right? No one should be cheating. And is the penalty given to Penske justifiable? Yeah, I believe it is. It's going to make this championship a whole lot interesting now that Newgarden is no longer up among the leaders and now turns the lead over to Scott Dixon. Normally, Dixon doesn't lead this early into a championship. And Robert Malechka coming to pit road.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, man, I do agree that if you're going to do it, don't do it, obviously. But then the official versions that they came back and said, like, Tim Cindric was talking about the hybrid thing. And then Newgarden, in his press conference, he was saying that, I thought the rule had changed. So the versions kind of don't really match what they were talking about. So... Like I agree. You have to go and try and find any loopholes, any gray areas, and try and exploit them. But it did seem a little iffy.
But an ignorance of the rules is not an excuse either.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Matsuda on pestering Robert Malechka coming out of the pits. Matsuda to look inside of 5. Malechka's going to give him room, and. Malechka trying to bring those tires up to temp. Ooh.
This is super interesting because if Malechka is able to keep the position, he's going to essentially be jumping Matsuda.
Oh! And that contact was inevitable. Right there at that part of the racetrack. That contact was inevitable, and that cost Heo Matsuda probably a good finish because he's going to now have to stop because he has no right plane front wing.
Oh, man. Yeah, I can say that's missing, and that totally destroys the aerosensitive cars. He's going to have to pit for a new wing here. He's coming here to pit road.
And that gives the position to Jacob Reed now.
And Sticks also benefits from that. He's now super close to RM3 as well. And I was saying that was going to be interesting because Malechka was 2 positions behind Matsuda, so by jumping him on the track after the pit stop, he was going to be essentially in front of him and earning those 2 positions and getting himself on the podium, basically. But yeah, close racing and typically side by side in the museum section is not going to work.
So Beta Fear is going 24 and 24 in terms of his stops here.
Van de Sand pitting as well. This is going to be interesting to see where Van de Sand comes and merges with this group.
Beta Fear's down and away. Van de Sand hasn't reached his stall yet. You see Kevin Burrell coming around. So Burrell will pick up the position. Van de Sand on pit road, down and away. He is on the prime tire.
Yeah, same with Bettifer and Burrell. They're both in the primes.
Heo Matsuda on pit road, and he has gone there for a longer stop. He might be cooking a little bit in the car. We'll see. That front wheel, there might be a little bit more than front wing damage there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of totaling damage or something. Maybe something on the underside of the car. That sometimes these hits, you can get away with them and nothing happens to you, but it really depends on where the contact happens, and it can be very, these cars can either be very, very tough or very, very fragile. I don't think there's an in-between. And Van de Sand just came out in front of Malechka.
Yep. And that is a battle of teammates. That's a battle of teammates right there. Burrell in second. We're doing a little bit of a drone shooting going on here. Give you a good idea of the scale of this facility. It's not horribly big. As you see from the map, it kind of switches back on itself in a lot of spots. But a lot of elevation changes. Drivers love the track. Not just the pro drivers, but the amateur drivers here on the iRacing service love this track.
Maleshka just set the fastest lap, and he's hounding Van de Zandt now. Van de Zandt taking a defensive line. He's
Like
going to force Maleshka to the outside.
Yeah, outside. Yeah, 107.605 for Robert Maleshka. The Oval Meister laying down a blistering road course lap.
Yeah, the oval, the road course master as well. You know, he's basically the IndyCar master. He's really good, pretty much in every configuration. And now Styx is also getting closer to Van de Zandt. Styx is on the alternates, and Van de Zandt is on the primary, so that's potentially a difference. And that's probably also what helped Maleshka get by Alex. Although, you know, he didn't really fight him, their teammates, but still.
So, Robert's driving style kind of reminds me of another race car driver with the initials R and M. My buddy Rick might take offense to this because that's his idol, but Rick Mears he got some road course wins. He didn't have a lot of them, but he had some. But, man, he was the man on ovals. Anytime the cars went to ovals and he was in the lineup, any given Sunday, he had a shot if he was in the lineup. And that's kind of how things are with Robert. You see him in the lineup, whether he's at the front or at the end. At the end of the day, when the checker flag's out, he's going to be back up front, contending for that win or a podium spot.
Yeah, and especially, you know, remarkable because of when he does that typically on Tuesdays. That's a fixed setup. So you cannot really change anything except the in-car tools, which, don't get me wrong, they help a lot. But most of the times, it's just about the lines that he takes, where he accelerates, where he brakes, if he needs to brake at any point. And, just a lot of, you know, awareness that he has of the cars around him and how to take advantage of any small issue. So, yeah, I agree with you. Doesn't matter if he's starting 21st. We're probably going to see him in the top 3.
Watching a battle between Styx and VDS. And Styx to the inside. He's going to probably smack the button coming down the straight here, try to pull this off going in the 5.
But that's his last push of the button. Oh, well, he's going to have one more.
Oh, I haven't checked his. I haven't checked his numbers. We'll do a rundown of that here really quick. Since we've just now are kind of gone through the second fuel stint, we're still waiting for Matt Taylor to stop, although his current stint is 22 laps, so we probably expect him in the next 8 laps or so. He looks like he's the only driver on the 2-stopper. Everyone else seems to be on a 3 or 4, depending on when they made their first stop. If you're just joining us, it's Race First coverage of the 4D Racewear. Coverage is sponsored by 4D Racewear, round 4 of the Saturday top split of the IndyCar iRacing Series, coming to you from Barber, where we've completed 54 of 90 laps scheduled. If you're enjoying the coverage and would like to monetarily support our commentary team, our GoFundMe link is in the description. Please send a few dollars our way. We would certainly appreciate it.
Yes, please do.
And again, today's coverage brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them at 4dracewear.com or click on their link in today's stream description. Okay, back to the action.
Yeah, there's a battle brewing between Sven Neumann, teammate to Pascal Styx, and David Porcelli. He was very close, had to get off of the throttle just a tiny bit to avoid running into the back of Neumann there. But Porcelli trying to mount a charge here. Getting closer and closer. Through the museum section. Really good exit there by Neumann.
Yeah, he did. Push to pass situation. Beta Fuhrer has 9. Burrell has 9. Malechka has 9. Pascal Styx, as you said, has been firing through. He is one push of the button left before he is Winchester, and he is out. But as the saying goes, you can't take him with you to the next race, so you might as well go to 0 anyways. So I'm sure he'll use it at one point. Van de Zandt with 6. Jacob Reed with 6. Ike with 8. Newman right here in 8th with 9. Porcelli with 7. And Matt Taylor in 10th, who is on that 2-stopper. And I just don't think he has the fuel to use any. He's the only, he and Lionel Maze are the only two that have all 10 presses of the button left. And sometimes you see someone with 10 at this point in the race, and you ask yourself, did they forget to map it? But not in a top split race. Maybe you see that every now and then. But I got to firmly believe Taylor just doesn't have the fuel reserves or in the strategy to smack that button at all. So maybe in the last stint he will. But right now, if he wants to hit a number, and he's looking to pit here in about 4 or 5 laps to get him to 60 for his final stop, he cannot hit that button at all.
Yeah, because it does drain a lot of fuel whenever you press the button. It doesn't matter if it's only once. It's going to completely mess up your fuel number that you're trying to get. And looking at the numbers, Matt Taylor actually went to the pits lap 30 on the dot. So he's going to have to save even a little bit more, because he's going to have to pit on lap 60 and then make it all the way to lap 90. But he has to run that 90th lap on that fuel. So, yeah, Porcelli's down on the bottom trying to make a move on Neumann there.
Let's get back down to that one.
Very close.
Now, there could be one saving grace for Taylor. There are 13 cars on the lead lap. Chances are when Taylor pits, he's going to go down a lap. He might get his lap back when the leaders pit, but he'll be at the tail end of the lap. And if you start doing the math again, that might bring him 1 lap to the good on fuel mileage, because it's one less lap he has a turn in the race because of the proximity of where the leader is when they take the checkered flag.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good point. And, if that nets you 7 spots like he is currently, that's a win.
Yeah, he is
on the bottom again. He's really trying hard.
Yeah, he was taking a couple of pump fakes out there. It's like, should I pull out? I'm going to stay right there in the draft. I mean, a little psychological game's going on, too. I mean, to look in your rearview mirror and to literally see, someone with a 6K rating stalking you like that. Ooh, you're to the inside in 5. He's going to have a good inside launch here, and that might get him the position. Does that move Porcelli up to 8th, side by side, coming down into 6, 7, and 8, 9. Oh, this is not a side-by-side spot, boys. And they get through there cleanly, and that had a lot to do with skill and trusting the guy you're racing with.
Super clean racing between these two. And something to note was right on the exit of turn 5, Neumann, who had been, storing his push-to-pass buttons, he pressed it. So he was able to keep side-by-side and get a little bit in front of Porcelli entering the museum complex. But Porcelli's not giving up. He's trying to make it work on turn 15. He does. Wow, good move there.
Yeah, pulls it off. Good move. Solid racing. Now Newman kind of looking on the outside, maybe going into 1. Just really not a good passing spot unless it's the start or a restart. Of course, we're not going to see any restarts here unless there's a full course yellow.
And Porcelli trying to build a gap by using the button again. He was at like 7, maybe 6 when you mentioned them. He's down to 3.
He is down to 3, yeah.
But again, passing is tough in this place, so might as well use him. I'm sure he's not necessarily happy that he had to use like maybe 4 or 5 of his presses at the bottom. But hey, at least he now has clean track in front of him. He can put down some fast laps and try and build a gap to Neumann to avoid having to fight him again. Although I think they both still need to put on the primaries, and I think they're trying to make this stint as long as they can so that they don't have to go through very many laps on that primary tire, which is clearly not the preferred one.
Light fuel, though, and primary tire. That does help out a little bit. Looks like Matsuda has retired. He is now classified in 21st. 19 cars out of the 26 that started this race are still running. Last car still running 2 laps down is Mark Noski. There he is right there. And again, sometimes people just have to drive to survive in order to make it to the finish. And I think Mark is among those that are now no longer really racing anybody around him, but just racing the racetrack. I've been there, buddy. I understand. Beta Fuhrer is the leader by 6 seconds over Burrell. Here is Burrell. Burrell by himself. He's got himself 4 seconds over Malechka. And there's Malechka right there. Just passing the start-finish line. So Malechka in the bottom step podium position. Pascal Stix, he is P4.
Remarkable, especially after that problem that he had on the exit of turn 3, turn 4 even, where he almost collected Van de Sande to be back and forth and having really, really good pace. That shows why he's the leader of the iRacing IndyCar Series right now. And, Jacob Reed, he's closing in.
Yeah, we're going to watching that. Yeah, I just noticed that he was creeping in on a VDS here. I think this is like one of the closest battles on the race. I think this is the closest battle on the racetrack at the moment. Newman and Porcelli is still pretty close, but not as close as this one.
Yeah, such a shame that we lost Hayato there. He was doing a fantastic job, and that was kind of the reason after that incident happened between him and RM3, this group kind of got separated. And, they've been trying hard to keep up with each other, but, with clean track, it's a little easier to put on laps that are at your own pace and build that gap. But again, Reed is not giving up, and he's doing a fantastic job of keeping up with these guys. Matt Taylor pitting exactly where he needed to pit, lap 60 for him. Lap 61 already for our leader.
And this will be his last stop right here.
Yeah, he's gonna have to save, I think, a little bit more if he stays on the lead lap. But as you said, if he gets lapped, then that's he's gonna be good to go. But again, he will not be able to press that button. Oh, we just went very wide. Oh, thought for a second he was trying to come to pit road, but no, he just got.
Oh, he clipped the grass.
Yeah, he clipped the grass a tiny bit.
Ooh.
Really good save, by the way.
So Taylor rejoins after his final stop in 14th. And he is 1 lap down.
Yep.
So when the leaders stop, he should get that lap back. So he might actually, waiting for those tires to come up to tempt here.
Yeah, he's gonna be on the lead lap once everybody pits. But yeah, like you said, he's gonna be close to the tail end and maybe close to being lapped. So, a thing that he could potentially do is let the leader by. And that way, he's not gonna run dry coming to the checker.
He might have been also banking on more people trying the two-stopper. And I think a lot of people maybe thought the two-stopper could have been a bit ambitious. He's going to try to make it work here. But it looks like the minimum 3-stopper is the way to go. I think, though, on the 4-stopper, you kind of run into the same situation that you run into the 2-stopper. It's just simply losing pace, mainly because you're sitting still too much longer than more longer than everyone else. And the 2-stopper, you have to maintain a certain pace that's slower than the leaders so you can hit a number. So that's why the 3-stopper is the sweet spot.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can tell that Taylor right now is saving fuel like crazy, and he's lots behind Van de Sande there. That's going to help him a little bit. He's going to get the draft and not have to use the full throttle all the way through the track. But that's only going to be for a little while until VDS, kind of gets away from him, because he's again, because he's having to save fuel. He's a second and a half slower than the leader. So yeah, he's in a tough spot. But again, let's try something different. Maybe it works. maybe it doesn't. This case, it doesn't seem like it's going to be working that great for him, but I really like going against what everybody else is doing.
Well, as T-Bell likes to say on the IndyCar broadcast, fortune favors the bold. So you don't know until you try. And right now, he is currently just outside the top 10 and 13th. But when the next round of pit stops pass, he should pick up a number of spots. Now, the point is, at that point, he's going to be a set of well-worn red tires. And everyone else is going to have fresher tires than him at that point. Maybe he might not be able to race as hard as he wants to in this last stint, and might lose his position he gains. But it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Leader is in traffic at the moment. In front of him is Alexander Hazelworth and Lionel Maze, or Maze.
Yeah, just yelled, "Oh!" because Mark Nussky is not having a good time. he went a little wide, very similar to what happened to Jacob Reed a couple of laps ago. He went wide on an exit of 13, almost spun out. He kept it going, but yeah, a long day for Nussky today. Bittifer now trying to get by Lionel Massey. I think last week Massey was really fighting at this time, but he just lets a leader by. That's a very gentlemanly thing to do.
Yep.
Good on him. Because I remember last week at Long Beach, he was fighting the leaders and ended up causing an incident. So yeah, good on him. We called him out on that, but yeah, this is great to see that. He went back and probably was like, "Oh man, I probably shouldn't have done that." We've all been there.
Well, and the thing is the IndyCar community itself on the surface is not a very big community. Most everyone is a member of that IndyCar community Discord server, which I think the link is in the description if you're watching and want to join that. Let me see. Do I see it there? Yeah, IndyCar Community Discord. It's below the where I put the schedule in the description. You can join that, and that's kind of where you meet and greet other drivers and kind of get intel on other drivers as well. And just about everybody that's a regular driver of these cars is in that community. Not entirely everybody, but just about everybody. You know, the other place that everyone kind of shows up is in the IR18 forum, and the official iRacing forum. Yeah. And you'll see a lot of discussion going on in there. But we, like elephants, have very long memories. And we know when someone does us wrong, and we remember when someone does us right. We don't really remember much in between, but we remember when someone does us right, and certainly we remember when someone does us wrong. And, you know, you don't want to get a bad reputation for yourself as being a missile in the community and doing some bonehead things. You don't want to be that way, because that really impacts the trust of the drivers around you. They will not want to race with you. And, you know, doing things like that just happened there with allowing the leaders to go through, moving over, and just kind of letting them go through. That etiquette goes a long way in the community. Doing bonehead things, well, that will go a long way too. A long way to people remembering you and wanting to race with you.
Yeah, and or racing you very hard. I know I do. I have, and I think we all do. We all have like a list of, you know, the guys that have wronged us at some point that we don't trust in the track, and we keep that in back of our minds. And if I'm racing you really hard,
Pascal Sticks on pit road. Yeah,
Sticks and Vandesen, they're both in pit road. Reed went a lap earlier, trying to maybe do a little bit of an undercut on Vandesen there. We'll see where he merges. But yeah, I mean, we keep a list, and if you wronged us in the past, we're not gonna give you any room.
And we're like Santa Claus. We keep a list and we check it more than twice.
For sure.
We know who's naughty.
Oh, definitely.
Sticks down in the way. Van de Sande down in the way for their final stops.
I want to see where Reed is.
Reed is a ninth, coming down the front stretch.
Yeah. Wow, not close at all. Reed must have had a slow pit stop or something. He's now 9
Yeah, he was on pit
back.
road for 30.8 seconds, in the box for 8.5. Comparison to Van de Sant. Van de Sant was on pit road 29.9 seconds, so within a second, they were both on pit road. Van de Sant was in the box for about a half second less. That doesn't really make up why that buffer is so big. Maybe he had another incident on track while those tires are coming up. He's on the prime tire. Prime tire takes a little bit longer, as you see Jacob Reed sliding through the corner there.
No, I saw what happened. I went back to check.
You have a moment?
He spun. Yeah, he spun
Okay.
on the museum complex. He went off. That's gonna account for
All
those
right,
seconds.
I'm about to say, unless you had a moment on the racetrack, it had to be probably when those tires were coming up to temperature. And now he's really, really hustling it now. Lap 69 of 90. We are in the middle of the last pit stops for most of these drivers.
Yeah, and Ike just got ahead of Reed. So yeah.
Yeah, Ike's not had a great
definitely
race. Started from the pole and has fallen to 7th spot. He is the biggest, not biggest loser, and I don't want to say he's the loser, but he's lost the most positions out of all the drivers that started. Everyone else has gained positions. Styx has lost 1, Van de Sant has lost 1, and Ike has lost 6, but everyone else on the grid has gained positions from where they started. The leader of that is Porcelli, now in 3rd on pit road. He is up 7 spots. He's going to lose those right now as traffic will get by him for his pit stop. Eatwell and Green, we've talked about those two kind of in the back a little bit, but they are up 7 spots, kind of mainly due to attrition. Just keep swimming, guys, as they say in the Disney movie. And Rob Hubricks is also up 9 spots, so he just needs to keep on chugging.
Reed was able to make it by Ike and got ahead of Porcelli as well. And now the closest battle is Van de Sant actually making a move on Pascal Stakes.
There he is, got it.
P4. And I'm sure that both Bitfer and Burrell are going to be pitting in here soon. They are the only ones that haven't, but they have a huge lead.
Yeah, 21 laps, Beta Fury's current stint, 22 laps for Burrell in the current stint. Last time they went 25 and 24 laps, respectively. So they are getting to their window here relatively soon. Let's do an overall gap to the leader. There you see Burrell has actually now gotten within 10 seconds of Beta Fury. And then Burrell, here is Burrell. Malechka 47 seconds behind Beta Fury. He's got the purple lap. That's what the green or the purple number 3 means next to his name. Van de Sant 50 seconds back. Styx 51 seconds back. That is the closest battle on the racetrack right there. Also, Newman and is in a lot of traffic at the moment in 10th. He had Porcelli around him. Actually, that was Kevin Burrell around them. Sorry. Those satellite cars were painted pretty much identically.
Yeah, same thing happened right. I was watching Bettifer. He was making his way by Jeremy Hoppe, and I was like, didn't he just pass these guys? They have the same paint scheme. Hoppe and Massey, they are both French, and they are both teammates from BCC Racing. So yeah, great to see a new team forming. But yeah, I got confused a little bit because of that same livery on both those.
So there is Jeremy right there, and then his teammate is. There it is. There's his teammate. We're looking at the back of his car. Yep, identical. It would be helpful if these guys. Lionel on pit road, and he overdrives the entry, and behind him, that's going to hurt Kevin Burrell, because Kevin Burrell was coming to pit road and he had to check up, so that's going to hurt Burrell on pit road. that might open the door for Malechka to get the position.
Oh man, yeah, it's such a tricky pit road. I think that's at least 2 or 3 seconds that Birel is gonna lose there. Oh, I'm sure he's not happy at all.
No. Watching Robert Malechka now. He is past pit entry. Burrell as at pit exit. So Malechka really ate into that a little bit. That cost Burrell a little bit, but still the buffer was big enough, the delta was big enough that he is able to maintain his position in second.
Something going off in front of Malechka. That's Alexander Wesley Hazelworth, who is now hard into the wall.
Went right to toe. Not sure what happened there.
Yeah,
oh my gosh! Oh,
that was hard.
Oh wow!
And more accidents in front of RM3. I'm sure that at this point he's like, "What's going on?" Mark Noski goes up again. You know, that's the other part. These races are long. At some point, you start kind of losing focus, kind of losing concentration of where your braking points are. If the track changes a little bit, if it heats up.
We'll take a look at the weather conditions here.
Yeah.
91 degree track temp, 72 degrees ambient. So track temp's not that bad, but if you abuse the tires, they will kind of give you a little bit of revenge back if you do that too much. The Burrell is now 38 seconds behind Beta Fuhrer. He is 7 seconds ahead of Malechka.
And I think he's pitting now. Yep. Better first to the pits.
Final stop for our leader.
Real good pit entry there. Not the fastest, but he didn't need to do anything out of the ordinary, especially with such a tricky pit entry. Just get by it, get your last set of tires. He has a massive lead, and now even bigger because of that issue that Burrell had.
To his spot, hitting his marks up on the pneumatic jacks. Single impact lug tires going to the alternates, down off the pneumatic jacks, down and away, just enough fuel to get to the finish. That is our final stop for our leader. Let's see where he pops out. I think he's still going to pop out the leader, because Burrell is just now entering the pit straight. So Beta Fuhrer commands the lead still after his final stop. So now this race is really his to lose at the moment.
Yeah, 11.5 second lead. That's pretty cool. You don't even need to push that much. Although, you know, whenever, and it happens to me, and I'm sure it happens to some others, whenever I'm like, oh, okay, I don't need to really push that much, then I kind of lose focus.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Just keep going and keep doing what you were doing. That's what got you the lead, what got you the gap, and that's, if you keep doing the same thing, that's what's going to get you the victory.
Now, there is a lot of tire clag buildup on the outside of these corners. A lot of marbles out there. I don't think I want to go offline very much.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely not. Looks like
Ike and Porcelli is the closest battle at the moment.
Yeah, looks like Porcelli just went by Ike there. And Taylor, he's P11 right now, and he's not that. You know, Carey is the next one closer.
Well,
to him.
and that is the car in front of him is a battle for position. That's Anders Sandberg in 10th. He's brought that Team Watson Racing setup, Team Scours sponsored entry up to 10th here very quietly. And we've seen him before on previous top split races. We know he's good, and he's in a battle right now with Matt Taylor for the top 10. Oh, and he overcooks it, and so does Taylor. But they have, right behind him is Kevin Burrell. So they have one of the leaders.
Yeah, the problem for Taylor is he still needs to save fuel. So he got very close, and now, you know, just lets Burrell by, which is a very, very, you know, etiquette thing to do. That's good. But he cannot bring a fight to Sandberg, realistically.
Speaking of, while we got a moment here, speaking of the IndyCar Community Discord server, for those that are watching this race after and you have not already done so, in the IIS channel, you can search my name and find a post for me, and you have 3 choices for what session and what top split session do you want us to broadcast for the Indy GP. The reason why is that if we run the Indy GP in this normal time slot, when GP week gets here, we'd actually be running this race as the real race is going on. So we don't want to interrupt anyone's IndyCar viewing, certainly mine. I don't want to interrupt my own either.
I'm so sorry, but John Pettifer was on a flyer, and right in front of him, Mark Nussky lost it. Almost collected our leader.
Oh, wow. We got it on replay. Go over to that poll I put up in the IndyCar or the IIS Discord channel, and put in your preference of when you want that programming to be made, or that broadcast to be made. Right now, the leader is 4 p.m. Eastern, the Friday before the Indy GP. And I'm open to that. I just don't know the rest of my network, my broadcasting team is, but we'll figure something out. But if that's the choice, I could probably do that at least by myself. Or Beta Fear's on the button there, as we see. We're riding along with him in car. On the button means you see the green border around his pyre out there on the
I think
LCD
he's trying
screen.
to go for the purple lap.
Yeah, he is.
He was trying to do that the lap prior, but had to bail out when Nussky spun in front of him.
We'll see. Here he comes. There it is.
There it is.
107.1. 107.157, your purple lap. He's just going for everything right now. He hasn't led every lap, so he's not going to be able to get the Grand Slam. And he did not start from the pole, but he definitely will lead the most, or get the win and get that purple lap. So at least 2 of the Grand Slam jewels.
There's a great battle brewing between Reed and Porcelli. Porcelli has been slowly closing in. They are pretty much... he's within striking distance here. If he makes jolt to the inside as he does, he takes a look. Not that close.
But while we watch this real quick, just make sure if you're listening and you aren't a participant here in one of the top split races, make your preference known, and we'll get that scheduled in. I plan on letting that poll run to the end of the day, and then whatever is chosen, I will go ahead and schedule. Ooh, Reed, Lewis coming off corner action. Here it is. Door is open.
Good defensive line there.
I'll schedule that broadcast there accordingly. So check it out in the IndyCar Community Discord on the IIS channel and that poll. Anyways, back to the action here.
But like you said, we don't want to go head to head with the real IndyCar racing. So
I want to watch the IndyCar race too, guys. I want to watch it. I'm sure you want to watch it.
I want to watch it, and I'm sure whoever is watching this is probably also wanting to watch that one. So do us a solid and vote for your preferred time slot. Porcelli trying everything he can. He actually has, they have three pushes left for Porcelli, 4 for Reed. So advantage Reed, but Porcelli is on the preferred tire, the alternate tire. Reed had to go to the primary one. And he gets super loose on exit of 5.
He's trying. He's pushing hard. Yeah, there's going to be... Ooh, he's going to look through the chicane area there. Don't do that. But we've seen him run through there side by side. So there will be another race later this season that we got to make a determination of when we want to broadcast it. That's Detroit Week. Detroit Week happens to coincide with the official Indy 500 weekend. That's going to be an interesting weekend. That might be a race we don't broadcast at all. I don't know yet. We'll have to see how that shakes out, what times we have available, because we are committed to at least one IndyCar or at least one fixed top split race that we're committed to. And beyond that, if we can get an opening in there to do Detroit, we will. But we might have to put the question up. It might be a different time than Saturday, because I believe they're running the Indy 500s on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. How do we schedule around that?
The month of May and the middle of June is just we're jam packed. We appreciate all of the business and all the attention, and it's just great to see IndyCar's back being broadcast and getting the full support of iRacing again with the license acquisition they did with IndyCar. Or sometimes the cup runneth over, which is, not a bad thing, I guess, but we definitely want to bring all the action we can to you, so we'll try our best to see if we can get that Detroit race in for IIS.
Yeah, and we'll also have to look a little bit at the numbers, because I'm sure most will try and do the 500s. I'm not sure a lot of people are going to be joining IIS.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that's going to be, and how they're going to get them scheduled. I wish they would put the schedule out. We know the dates, but they haven't put the schedule out, and they said that they would not run open to run on top of fixed and fixed to run on top of open. So they would be staggering them somehow, that if you wanted to run both, you could run the one race and then come right back and run another 500 miler, which is completely nuts, but okay.
But I know that I probably will try it if I'm not successful in my first one.
And Tony's like, I'm glutton for punishment, okay. And
last time, sorry, yeah,
no,
last
right
time
ahead.
last time we had the Indy 500. I mean, 3 years ago I finished second, which was horrible. It's like first loser, and then 2 years ago I was leading two of the races that I did, and one of them I had a VR malfunction. I decided to turn on and just break everything, so I wrecked. And then on the other one I got wrecked as well. So. From the lead, which was very disappointing. So I'm looking for revenge here. So if I have to do 2 or 3 even, well, that's what's gonna happen.
If I got time, if you need a spotter, let me know. My spotter record at 500s are pretty good.
Okay, yeah, well, let's do that, man.
Now my one and only fixed 500, I finished started 5th, finished 4th. But I looked at the lineup, and it comes back to what we were saying earlier about building trust with the drivers, your fellow drivers around you. Now, unlike other races and the official races for IndyCar, where you're paired up against people that have the same I rating as you, in the Indy 500s, you are paired up with people with approximate same speed as you as how you qualify. No. So in my split, I was like 7th split. And I qualified 5th. I looked at the lineup, and I knew nobody, not a soul. And I did not like that feeling at all. And I said, I am going to start from the pits. And sure enough, going into turn 1, the car that would have started on my inside got loose going into 1, which is a common thing. So if you don't practice restarts, people, please practice your restarts for Indy 500. Your car is going to be loose going into 1 a lot. Just be ready for it. He wasn't ready for it and took out the car that filled my spot.
Oh man!
And so
lucky.
Yeah, so I started from the pits and immediately moved up 2 spots.
Yeah. You're going back to what we were talking, about the experience of or having experience driving these cars. We know pretty much everybody wants to run it, but not everybody is super familiar with these cars, and they don't know the nuance that cold tires. Lap 1, you're gonna get loose, so just be easy on the throttle now.
Well, yeah, that
and
you got to think about physics. You're still coming up the speed. You don't have all that downforce that you normally would have if you were up to speed. So you're hoping that you're going to stick by the tires Well, the tires aren't up to temperature, so they're not going to stick. So, you need to either control that with the weight jacker, or if it's really dire, you control that with the anti-roll bars, as we're coming to 5 to go here soon. You got to set. And then by the time you get to turn 3, when you should be about 100% up to speed, you need to reset your bars and reset your weight jacker, depending on what you're using, to be where you want it to be for a cold tire full tank start of the run. So your first lap is very busy at Indianapolis, and if you don't pay attention, you should practice those restarts and starts as part of your practicing, not just overall speed and pace, but you need to practice, your green flag pit ins and your green flag pit outs, all that stuff. You should practice that. There's ample practice time, but you should practice that, and a lot of people don't.
Yeah, no, 100% to everything that you just said. I've seen a lot of people that don't know where to pit, how to pit. Whenever you come to that first cycle, and they take off, they either run into the attenuator, they maybe run into somebody else because he didn't know what they were doing. So yeah, just try and practice a little bit. In the meantime, there's a battle brewing there for the last spot in the top 10. That's Andrew Sandberg. He's trying to hold off Brian Carey, who has been really, really hounding him for the last couple of laps. And, he's running out of time. I think they were fighting with each other maybe around 50 laps earlier. So it's fun to see that they are still back together.
Carey, with those alternate tires, with the pace he has right now, is pretty impressive. Carey, actually, no. I take that back. Sandberg, 21 laps on his current stint on the set of tires. Carey, on the alternates, is 13 laps into his stint. So the alternate's still going to have a little bit better pace for the next couple of laps, and the crossover should occur that Sanders might be able to reel him back in, but I think he's going to run out of time here with only 4 laps to go.
Yeah, no, and great move by Carey there to get that spot. Very clean pass, a little aggressive, but everything worked out. So move Carey to the top 10 as we are getting ready to be 3 to go. This race has gone up real quickly, and what a dominant run so far by John Bedford, and also Kevin Burrell. I mean, he's B2, he's 16 seconds away from Bedford, but he's 15 seconds in front of Maleshka, so basically he's on an island of his own.
And just real quick, we got time. Here is the point situation one more time. Kraus not in the split, whereas Burrell is. So this is going to pay big for Burrell, finishing second. Sticks is going to get pretty good pay out of this one as well. Matsuda probably wishes that whatever happened early in the race, he could reel that one back in. Vaniset's going to probably get well rewarded out of this, and probably Robert Malechka as well. So making the top split in a high strength of field race is going to be very rewarding to about 4 or 5 drivers in that top 10. And this is
and shout out to Rob Hubert's 10 spots gain. He's our biggest, the guy that has gone through the field the most. 2 to go here.
I think Betafir has Newman in front of him, so he is lapping up to P9. This is 9th spot right here.
Yep.
Not bad for the core squad. Looks like they're going to have 2 guys in the top 10. Looks like the Satellite Racing squad, if all goes well, going to have 2 in the top 10. The Power Slide squad will have 2 in the top 10. But the drivers that you would expect to see in the top 10 are there at the end of the day, as Randy Macho Man Savage, oh yeah, says the cream rises to the top, yeah.
And indeed it does. Bedford got quite loose exiting the museum section. He's really trying to catch Neumann there as he's coming to the white. And there it is. White flag is out. Last lap.
There we go.
So just about bringing it home.
Leanly through. set of turns here. Coming down the 5. We'll bring up the map one last time. Around 5. I like how they count this little kink as 6. What is this, Road America? And then we're coming down to 7, 8, and 9. They should just really get rid of, I think. Everyone cuts the corner, as we see there. Yeah. Ten and 11, this really quick slalom right there. 12 and 13. Well, we've seen him before here on the top split. We know that he's always been good. I don't think we've seen him get a win, but he gets the win here on a Race First coverage sponsored by 4D Racewear. The IIS top split on Saturday. Congratulations, John Betafuhrer.
And what a dominant run. That's great to see. Burrell is now making his way through turn 15 to the front stretch. P2 for Burrell.
Here comes Robert Malechka. Right behind him will be Matt Taylor on the two-stop strategy. And he's going to be a lap behind, so he actually should have one extra lap of fuel. So
yeah, he's going to be good. He's going to be good because of that.
And Taylor actually at one point did get a chance to use 6 push-to-passes. He's down to 4, so he wasn't that close on fuel. Pascal Sticks coming in 4th. Van de Sant coming across just now in 5th. Jacob Reed just now coming across in 6th. Porcelli following in 7th. Ike, if I get to Ike, finishing in 8th. And Newman, I think he was just ahead of the leader, so he has not taken the checkered flag yet. Will be the last car on the lead lap, finishing 9th. Power Slide actually gets a 3rd car in the top 10. Brian Carey finishes 10th, so Power Slide with 3 cars in the top 10. RM3, Alex VDS, and Brian Carey in 10th, so a good day for Power Slide. And we'll get the finishing the stats here in just a second.
So it was 16 seconds between Betafuhrer and Burrell, and then another 16 seconds to RM3 there. Very even. But, you know, we saw a great race, a lot of racing throughout the field. I don't think we had a moment where we were like, oh, well, nothing's happening. So that's really
let's bring up the final results here as we just had to queue up some replays. Betafuhrer the win, 67 laps led there. On the 3-stopper, Kevin Burrell, P2, got 18 laps in led there. Robert Malechka very quietly works his way up 3 spots. Doesn't lead a single thing, but a 3-stopper results in a P3 for him. For the Oval Meister, good finish for him. Pascal Sticks, again, one of the best names in all of sim racing. P4, Alex Van de Sant, P5, led 2 laps there. Jacob Reed, P6. Porcelli, up 3 spots to P7. Ike, not a great race. He was started on the pole, lost 7 spots, did manage to lead 3 laps. I'm not sure what happened with him. Maybe he had some damage that we didn't see, but he finishes 8th. Sven Newman, 9th. Brian Carey, as I mentioned, that 3rd Power Slide car in 10th. Sandberg at 11th. Matt Taylor on the 2-stopper. Finishes 12th. That worked out pretty well for him because he improved 5 spots. Eatwell up 8 spots. Green up 8 spots for 13th and 14th. Jeremy Hope, hope I'm saying that right, is up 4 spots to 15th. Hubris up 10 spots at the end of the day to 16th. Noski 8th. Maze 18th. Noske, 17th. Hazelworth 19th. Matsuda, I'm sure he's very disappointed. He was in the top 5 for most of the day until he had an issue. Finishes 20th. I'm sure he's not very happy about that one. Southfield 21st. Weiser 22nd. Shirkoff 23rd. Rashad Craig, a day that I know that he wishes he could forget, as 24th. Matt White, 25th. And Linda Urso, I hope I'm saying that right, is 26th and final of our 26-car field. All right, let's check out if anybody is in the interview room. We'll probably start with Robert Malechkis. We got him up on the screen, and there he is. We'll bring him up right now. Hey, Robert, got you in the booth with Gary and Antonio. We kind of talk about your oval prowess as being your big strength, but very quietly, you brought your team car, Power Slide, had 3 guys in the top 10, as a matter of fact, and you got to the bottom step of the podium just by a very consistent and safe pace.
Yeah, it was kind of a straightforward race for me. I was gonna start blacks no matter what, and kind of ride around, and then get to the way faster tire, which is the reds, and got to the reds, and I was cooking. Like, I think I was running when I was pushing. I was running roughly the same times as Kevin. John was just on a different level. He's a complete alien. But yeah, I was just pushing. Had a little scuffle with Hayato though there. I don't really know what happened. I don't really understand trying to fight someone on reds when you're on the blacks, which are super slow here. But nonetheless, got a P3, Alex P5, and Brian had a decent drive for P10 at the track that he's not that great at.
We saw that you actually had the purple lap for quite a while until the last stint where John decided to go for one banger of a lap. But yeah, we also saw that you were the first one starting on the primary tire, and that allowed you to just use the alternate for the entirety of the race after that. And so yeah, that incident with Hayato, I think at that moment you were basically merging in, or he was merging in. So yeah, got side by side, and typically that doesn't work that well through the museum complex. But get great racing there, and you had a hell of a fight for quite a while before that happened with stakes, with Bandesen, with Reed, and with Matsuda. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we were all kind of stuck behind. I think Hayato was the first from the pit, so his track's so difficult to pass that if the overcut is so strong that I think we all kind of got stuck behind him. To like 4 or 5 tenths gaps between us, and at the start, Jacob and I, actually, I think we worked relatively well together there. He was a bit faster than black, so I let him go, and he kind of towed me up to that pack at the end of the stint, and I think we were able to get the undercut on was it Andreas, and we just got the blacks out of the way for both of us right away, and then we were all kind of stuck. But I knew I had a pace to get by. I just had to kind of be relatively patient there for a bit and buy my time until I can get to the second pit stop.
Well, that's it for the month of April. Now it is now the month of May, and I know that's a big time of year for the Team Power Slide. How much more practicing, how much more preparation work do you have to do before these next 2 big races here at the Indy GP and at the Indy, whether it be one of the many Indy 500s or Indy 200s or 300s that will be run at this period of time? You guys ready, or you still got some more practice you need to do?
I've probably put in myself the last, month. I have about probably 15 to 20 hours at Indy already. But I know most of my teammates have been just too busy to kind of work on it. So I think once it becomes May next week, I think we're all gonna start kind of working together there and kind of trying to dethrone i5G and we have a good race set. We know that race set's probably the best out there, but we need to get better at qualifying, and I think I've kind of taken us a step in the right direction for that, and we should be fighting for pole. But yeah, I mean, Indy Road Course, one of my better tracks, probably my best track on here, honestly. They just seem to be pretty good at anything that is smooth and not super bumpy. So yeah, I got that. It's always actually a pretty good race for everyone. But yeah, month of May, I know everyone's kind of really excited to get back to that, and so am I.
Robert Malechkis sounds like he's playing a bit of the mule right now for Power Slide, so putting in the work while the other guys are are off in the real world doing some stuff. We know a lot of blockers, of course, working in the real world right now this weekend in the real NTT IndyCar Series. So someone's got to do it. It used to be back in the days, Paul Tracy was that person for Team Penske. So someone has to do it. So congratulations on getting that role. But congratulations on the P3. Shout out to anyone who wants to say hi to before we let you go.
Thanks for Brian for kind of working on the setup, Alex for helping out as well. Congrats to Kevin and John on their podiums as well. So yeah,
all right.
That's it.
All right, you got it. We will catch you here in a little bit. Make sure to, if you haven't done so, put your preference in for which split you want, because we won't be able to broadcast the GP during the Saturday slot because we'll be going the same time as the GP. So if you haven't done so, make sure to hit that poll I got up on the Discord. But other than that, we'll catch you whenever that next race is for sure. Congrats, and we'll see you at the next one.
Yep, thanks. Take care.
All right, bringing up the general here. This will be the easiest interview all day long. He knows exactly what to do. Watch. I'm just going to say, General, here you're in the booth, and then he'll go. Boom. Kevin got you here in the booth with Antonio and Gary. Kind of a very quiet day for you, man. Just got up there all day long. Got some laps in. Led them for a little while. But overall pace of John was just kind of out of this world. But as for you, I guess, winner in class 2, I guess. Because he was just way ahead of everybody at the end there. But talk about your race. And it looks like a pretty good day for yourself and the team for that matter, as Porcelli got in the top 10 after just a bad luck at Long Beach last week.
Yeah. I mean, it was good. And, Christian scored some points, big points earlier in the week too. And I think last time I checked right before I started this, he was running P2 in the final race of the IVRA season. So, good for him, I guess. I mean, it was just, I actually was only deciding to do the broadcast a few minutes before the race once I saw the SOF was really high, because I have a Tetris tournament tomorrow that I'm going to, and I was on the fence about running, but then I decided to.
In Japan, in Japan, do you have a Tetris tournament?
Yeah, yes, I do. It's unfortunate that my qual was maybe not quite where I wanted. I don't know if it really. I was a little bummed that I started in P3, and Andreas just had a crazy qual. I mean, 105.9. I think that might be I don't know if it's the fastest we saw all week, but I mean, it was really fast, and
it was almost to Grosjean's track record in real life.
Yeah, him and John had a little bit of a moment at the start. I'm not really sure what happened there, but either way, I mean, once I got through and I saw that I wasn't really falling off a whole lot faster, I was like, well, maybe we'll hold on to this. I'll probably lose it at the pit cycle somehow anyway, but it looked good for a while. And then in the stints after that, I just had nothing tire wear wise. I think my fastest laps were not really far off, but the tire wear was just not doing it. I don't know if we missed something in the set. I know earlier in the week I really struggled with locking the fronts at the little chicane thing, but this time I don't really think I burned the tires too badly. I think just maybe missed something in the set there, and I think even Christian would have had a maybe smaller gap, but it would have been very hard to beat the pace of John. He had really, really good pace. And for whatever reason, Rob couldn't get there behind, and I just drove for a while. I mean, that's the long and short of it.
Well, I should point out also, congratulations on getting the 7K. Man, that is a huge milestone.
Yeah, thank you. I thought that if I kept driving well in Indy Open and IIS, maybe I could get it by the end of IIS in September. And it just kept going up and up, and I was like, oh, actually it might not take that long. So who knows, 8K just seems totally unfathomable at this point, but the numbers kind of don't really agree with that. The numbers are saying maybe we could get there eventually, so we'll see. And I'd like to increase my oval personally. A 5K oval soon would be really nice. So, I mean, it was just a good race, and I like this. I like this series. Just the length of the races. It's a bit much, but it gives you a feeling for kind of what the real drive. I mean, their experience in the car is so much worse than ours, and here I am just sweating in my little office room driving fake racing cars, and I'm already oh my god, this is too much. So yeah, I can only imagine how it is. In
Well,
reality
thankfully,
in
the
terms
Indy
of pace.
500 for this series is only I think 300K or 500K maybe. So
Yes, yeah.
it's going to be shorter. But and we are to that point in the year that is focus now turns to Indianapolis. I know
Yes.
satellite racing is going to put on all hands on deck to do
Yes.
well in all the races. What do you think, you guys? What's your shot there to kind of dethrone I5G and these other power teams and get up there on the top step, or even just join them on the podium? Well, you guys got a plan, or you're still working
Yeah,
on
I
it?
mean, I'd say still working on it. So according to Crane, if you take Crane at his word, the race car very good. Qual still being worked on. I mean, I think things are a little different. This year we're going to see the outside really come in more. It's going to be a little bit kind of like old scan days of just huge outside setups for passes and stuff like that. And Qual's a little different too, of course.
Well,
So,
I mean, you got to remember last year the outside in the real race was pretty lucrative for Ferrucci and Newgarden. So
Yeah,
to see the
I'm not
outside
complaining.
working in real on the sim would kind of mirror what we actually saw last year, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people also, they don't like that for whatever reason. They don't like that kind of racing. But to me, like that, maybe it's just because that's the way it was when I started in the car. But like that is the quintessential indie experience of people setting up ridiculous passes on the outside. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think it plays to my strengths a little better. And now with the Tempest system and stuff, Qual, I wonder how consistent every session will be. I wonder if we're going to see people searching for the magic session. That's something that I guess we don't really know. Even with static weather, we don't really know if that's going to happen. And if it does, oh boy, that's going to be a really interesting 40-hour plus qualifying weeks. So yeah, we'll see. It should be good. I'm
I
looking
will
forward to
say
it.
this, for those that don't have appreciation for racing on the outside, then you must not like Rick Mears versus Michael Andretti. That's all I have to say. But shout outs, anybody, sponsors, friends, family, teammates, anybody you want to say hi to before we let you go?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, the guys at Satellite, the Ellis Engineering, Dr. Dabber, Muradness. There's probably more, and I missed them on the car. But they're on the car. You guys can see it. Crane's gonna wish me
Sponsors are
after
like,
this.
hey.
There's no Christian here to remind me. But and of course, Zach for bringing me some water and getting me sorted before the race. Best real life crew chief here. And just everyone watching on Twitch and everything. It was real fun, and thanks everyone for showing up. Always fun. I love this series. I mean, it's my favorite thing in iRacing, and when we lost it, I was really sad. But I'm just very
You were
happy that we have
sad.
it back now.
You were sad.
You were sad.
I was sad.
I gotta sleep. I'll catch you guys later. Have
All
a good
right.
one.
Take care, man. The General P2 today. Let's bring up John here in if I can there we go. Hey, John, got you up here in the booth with Antonio and Gary. First of all, welcome to the Top Split broadcast. It's been a while since we've seen you, and welcome to Victory Lane here on the Top Split. Congratulations. Man, you were just in another zip code than everyone else. Put a big whomping on the entire field. Talk about your race.
Yeah, it was a slow start with a Q2 or a P2 in qualifying, and then almost ran over Andreas in turn 2 on that first lap. From there, I was just kind of trying to slowly bring in the tires and fuel save a little bit and go from there.
So you two are one of the power teams, although I think we only saw one of your cars in this race. Coming up now after this, of course, is the big month of May. Or is Team Geodesic getting ready for the big month at the GP and the 500? You guys ready?
I'll for sure do the GP. Might take a swing at the 500, but probably not. We're not very good on the oval side and building oval setups. Just started working into building road setups, so we'll take it one step at a time.
One step at a time. Well, apparently, had a hell of a setup for Barber because you just put a huge stomping on the field. That hopefully, I don't know if the points have updated, but you're going to benefit greatly because of the strength of field of this particular one and getting the win. But it's good to have you here in the broadcast. Good to see you on the racetrack. Thanks for being here. Any sponsors, friends, families you want to shout out to? Since you got the win, go right ahead. You got the microphone. Take as long as you need to shout them out.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, just a big shout out to Hydro Race and GSI. They've been sponsors for a long time now and supporting us. So just want to say thanks to them and the rest of the team that tunes in to watch. So thank you.
Which GSI wheel are you using for this one?
I'm using the top of the line Hyper P1.
There you
I absolutely
go.
love it.
There you go.
All the dials on it really help out with this car. So
I had the Formula Pro Elite, and it's just like all the buttons that I really wanted for this car were not readily available that I wanted on that one. And I tell you what, the Hyper P1 is a very good product. So anybody looking for a master wheel for IndyCar, definitely don't take my word for it. Take John's word for it. That's their sponsor. That's the wheel that you want to have for the IR18. That has every single button that you need for this car at your disposal, readily reachable. So congratulations to you, the Geodesic Squad, the GSI, your sponsors, and all your friends and family. And hopefully we will see you. We'll probably see you at the GP, but hopefully we'll see you on the oval as well. Congrats.
sounds good. Thank you.
All right. First world problems with the Hyper P1 wheel.
And here I am with my G29.
But you put a whooping on people on a regular basis with the G29. I've seen you race, so sometimes it isn't always the wheel. But I will say that for every little tool that you need to adjust to these cars, to have it readily available instead of searching for another button box or dial or button that's not really within ergonomic reach, the Hyper FP1 is the Hyper P1 actually has everything literally within a thumb's reach that you need for these cars. But aside from the free advertisements for GSI, what do you think about today's race? And now that this is over, we get into the month of May. So first on the race, and next the big month coming up.
Yeah, man. Again, I think we had a great race for Barber standards. Sometimes Barber, as much as I love the track, it gets pretty spread out and nothing's really happening. But this time we had battles throughout the entirety of the race. And again, since we're doing full-length races, that's 90 laps around this place. That's around almost 2 hours of racing, and we had battles brewing everywhere. Except at the front, where once John took the lead, it was he checked out. But great racing, different strategies. We saw different things happening. With the guys trying with the alternate tires, saving fuel, going to the primaries. All in all, a fantastic race we saw today. And as for what's coming in the month of May, well, first off, we kick it off with the GP. I love that layout. It's one of the road courses that I'm decent at, so I'm gonna try and run a little bit and probably raise my iRating there.
You're gonna do some farming, huh?
Yeah, gotta play to your advantages, man. The Indy GP typically is a very, very fun race, very fun place to race at. As opposed to this one, it's mostly flat, so you can see pretty much everywhere where you're going. But it's a very fast track as well. So looking forward to that. And then afterwards, that's just the appetizer for the actual event. The 500 and the 300 that we're going to be having here on the IAS. Just really, really looking forward to that. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And the drivers are going to love it. We all love it. And IndyCar is synonymous with Indianapolis. So we are all looking forward to racing here again. It has been a very long time since we lost the license and that we haven't had the chance of having official races at the Brickyard. So, going back to it, it's going to be awesome. And I need to work on my setup.
Time to practice. Well, get on that. But in the meantime, we got one more race before then. Again, for everybody, make sure go vote. That you're watching this after the fact. Go, if you're in the IndyCar community Discord, go vote in my poll in the IIS channel. Just search my name. There are 3 choices there right now. The Friday 4 p.m. Eastern slot seems to be the leader right now. And if that's what's chosen, I will be able to do that race for sure. I don't know about Antonio, but we'll figure things out. Trust us, we will. But that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Barber is John Badenfuhrer with the absolute womping on the field. Kevin Burrell, General P2, and RM3 P3. Join Antonio, maybe Ryan. I'm not sure. Well, it depends on the schedule. And myself sometime the week of May 8th for round 5 of the IndyCar iRacing Series as the teams and drivers move to Indianapolis for the month of May, kicking things off with the Indy GP. We don't know what split we're broadcasting at this time. However, as always, continue to check our channel at youtube.com/racefirst for the correct day and time for our broadcast in your area. Again, check youtube.com/racefirst. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but not easy and require time and money to produce. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and have enjoyed our coverage of the IndyCar iRacing Series, please take time to go visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2024 broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution we've greatly appreciated, and we thank you for watching and making us a part of your Saturdays during NTT IndyCar weeks. And hold on, my cat all of a sudden wants to be part of the outro. There you go, buddy. Take off. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game's not easy, so please help support Race First with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below and let us know your thought of today's race, and if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe. You're why you gotta hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out more of Race First other iRacing programming, which will include tomorrow. We got 2 races tomorrow. We got the VOR IRO5 series at 11 a.m. Then everybody can watch Barber. And then after Barber, the Dark Horse DW12 series will be on at 8 p.m. at Milwaukee. And then also on Monday at 9:35 p.m. Eastern, we kick off round 1 of the ISRA Xfinity series from Fontana. And of course, our signature broadcast on Tuesdays at 8:15 at the IndyCar Oval Series Top Split, as we visit round 2 of the Triple Crown. Can Robert Malechka continue the run for the Triple Crown at Pocono? Tune in and find out. Keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge of all of iRacing. Race First, we know what Indy means. Race First Saturday IndyCar iRacing Top Series Top Split coverage brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their made for sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description. Track cams provided by Track Cams for Gourmets. To learn more about Track Cams, go to trackcam22.com or click on their link in the description. For business inquiries and learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us on Twitter by our handles right here at the bottom of the screen. So for El Patron and Antonio Estrada, everyone else at Race First, I'm Gary Gatto saying to all, thanks for watching. And to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, come home safe. Make sure to catch the real stars and cars of the NTT IndyCar Series this Sunday from Barber. Follow all the action on the Peacock app, your local NBC affiliate, or IndyCar Radio on SiriusXM channel 215. Be sure to check your local listings for the correct broadcast times and availability in your area. Catch us again. Catch us again. Oh, excuse me if I say it once. You can catch us again the week of May 8th for the next IndyCar race here for the IIS. See ya.